Hello YouTube, this is Morgan Airspeed Prime here with my next Boruto Anime episode review. This one is going to be for episode 58, which is called The Tournament Begins. And this is definitely a good episode. I don't think it was brilliant. I appreciate, once again, them being pretty fast-paced with what they're doing here. Kind of acknowledging that, yeah, you know, most of the audience probably has seen the movie or read the manga. They know what happens in this arc. There's no need to really give multiple episodes to each one of these fights. We're going to quickly get through the first couple of rounds and we'll focus on the bigger stuff as it kind of comes up. So I like what it did in terms of just a decision to not overdo it early on. Like, you're going to show a bit of all of these fights, but you're not going to have them all be really, really long. So Sarada's first fight is just a couple of seconds, and Boruto's first fight equally is just like a minute or two, but showing you that when it got tough, he did resort to using the scientific ninja tool over just his own skills, which I thought was showcased fairly well, of him reaching for like the two shurikens to do the throw two of them out, have one hit the other one, and do it that way, which probably, I suppose the idea is if he had done enough training, he would have been able to win the match using a technique he learned on his own, but he took the easy way out and used the kind of easy to manipulate shuriken from the ninja tool. Nice little moment there, and like him thinking that this is what's going to get him the praise from Naruto, but him also knowing at the same time that he is cheating in the exam. So It's definitely a case of his mentality coming into play here, because I think we all sort of know, based on previous episodes, previous arcs, Boruto can win this fight. He is meant to be one of the best of this group, but it's the mentality situation that he's in at this moment. The fact that him having this ninja tool is, you know, has him off, the recent kind of becoming the student of Sasuke, the stuff with Naruto, it's all put him off, and any slight issue has him resorting to the ninja tool. So that's being well done. And the longest fight we get here is actually Yodo versus Shikadai, which is very meant to be reminiscent of, I suppose, Shikamaru's fight against that sound ninja girl from the original Chunin exam. With the whole kind of sound, the sound dynamic that's going on here. I thought it was pretty cool to see what her power was. It's just that her really unique thing is that she has amazing hearing, so she kind of has to keep listening to music to sort of I suppose it's to keep it from she hears everything. She's always listening to music, and then she can just focus on what people are saying. And when she takes it off, she can hear absolutely everything, and then she can use her hair to do a sort of sound-based jutsu, and that's sort of wind style maybe. Again, it was an interesting one of just Shikadai avoiding it, his teammates pointing out the fact that he's actually not used to fighting one-on-one, because he's so used to being the sort of the finisher, the guy who swoops in when the opponent is distracted, captures them, and then that's how they kind of win their fights. So Shikadai kind of having to initiate all this stuff on his own, do the planning without having to incorporate Inojin and Chocho into it, was relatively fun to see. The I suppose final move being the paper bombs kind of getting torn up, but him activating one of them, making it seem like an accident that he's blown himself up, but him actually using that as cover, because all she can hear is the explosion, to plant his feet on the ground and use his shadow paralysis. You know, solid finish, but only, again, it's a first round match. They're not going overboard here. There's just a little bit of, shuriken, kunai stuff, him attacking with his usual technique, and then the kind of clever finishing blow. What else do we get here? Inojin loses his match to that other sand ninja guy. They seem to imply that there's something about that sort of staff that he uses that seems to immediately diffuse bombs, paper bombs or something like that, that he can just attack straight through Inojin's things without actually making them properly explode. So that'll probably be explained in his next match, because I assume he's not going to the finals. So whoever faces him, we'll cover what exactly the issue is there. Mitsuki against the kind of lightning overdrive guy. Pretty cool jutsu, just the idea of him kind of revealing that, like, okay, I'm going to use lightning style to increase the flow of like, electricity to my brain to like make me speed up. And Mitsuki just dodging, kind of thinking like, oh, if I didn't have any restrictions, I'd just use my Sage mode here, but I'm not meant to use it, so he ends up just finishing him off with the snakes. Fun little reveal as they're sort of setting up that Mitsuki is actually kind of like secretly, I suppose we as the audience know, but like most of the other characters are beginning to realize Mitsuki is actually one of the most powerful like people in this exam, and Shinki, Gaara's adopted son, is kind of meant to be the person who is in a way defining for us who the real threats are. So himself, Sarada, of course, with what she does, Boruto, and Mitsuki are obviously the key ones that he's worried about, and he seems to gain some respect for Shigadai as well. And obviously we leave off with the Shigadai match being the kind of, not the Chocho versus Shinki match being the one where, okay, we're properly going to see what Shinki can do here, and it looks like potentially Chocho is going to be the victim in this fight. But I assume this will be one they focus on a little bit. I don't think they'll just have Chocho just immediately lose, but I think she'll go all out but still end up losing it. But we'll get to see, probably get the explanation of what Shinki's powers actually are. I think the main takeaway I really have from this episode is that, okay, they're doing the end goal of the Chunin exams before the Ototsukis come in differently. Because obviously we're going to end up with a final 3, and I think the obvious 3 would probably be Boruto, Shinki, and Sarada. But when they get to that match, is that the match that's interrupted, or what? Because obviously Boruto has to be revealed to be using the ninja tool, which would stop the match, and then what happens happens. But it's an interesting one just to see exactly how they go about doing it. But I definitely enjoyed this episode. As I said at the start, it's not amazing in that it is just kind of quick fights, but it was cool to see them anyway, just to get a full idea of who's involved in this tournament and who goes through it. There's the sort of theme throughout the episodes of like the high fives, and Mitsuki. The only person who didn't high five was Mitsuki when he was going out after Inojin lost, but then Chocho high fives him when he's going out for his match, or when she's going out, and I suppose he learns what a high five is, kind of. Other than that, it was a bit weird to see the Kage being so sort of like quiet and restrained. I get that like they're the leaders, they're meant to look like they're all neutral in this, but it was kind of weird to see the two of them just look at Shikamaru like he'd just done something really, really wrong for celebrating that his son won. It's kind of like, okay, we know these two characters, like they're not that like stuck in the mud with this stuff. Like, I get it's a formal ceremony, but like, come on, like he's not doing anything that wrong, considering like some of the stuff that like Kurtsuchi was saying, and so on. But yeah, that's been my review for episode 58. In the comments, let me know what your thoughts were on the episode. But yeah, that's the video. Thanks for watching, and bye.